Welcome back to Fun with Fountain Pens.
Here's a house. Here's a door. Windows 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready to knock? Turn the lock.
10 school. All right, guys. Sorry if it's a little bit blurry. I'm having to use my backup camera. Something went wrong with the other one. Okay, I have a tremendous pen for you today. It is called the Lamy Studio. I love this pen to bits, although it is one that many people will be surprised to learn that I favor because it is made of burnished metal. Lamy is my favorite pen manufacturer. They are the pen that I use for my everyday carry. Is their flagship Lamy 2000. The Studio is a model in that range, but it is one step down from their flagship. I love it anyway. It is much more modern, but it is also very, very cool. Let me show you what I like about this wonderful pen. The first thing is that I tell people all of the time that I really don't like having a metal section on a pen. And even though this pen is aluminium, it doesn't have a metal section, which is the grip part here. What it is macrolon, a sort of a fiberglass, which is used for the Lamy 2000. The other thing I really like about it is this nib. You see this sort of shoulderless nib here? This is what's called a Z50. They are standard on almost every Lamy pen. The one big exception is the Lamy 2000, their flagship. Any of their pens that have the Z50, like the Lamy Safari, like the Lamy Studio, all of them, these nibs are replaceable. You can buy them from Lamy, but you can also buy Z50 type nibs from China for a couple of bucks. So if for any reason the nib you buy doesn't suit your particular hand, you can always replace it readily and easily. You can't do that on the Lamy 2000. The other thing that I don't like so much about it is this pen is a cartridge converter. All right, to just give you a little bit of an example of what it looks like, it's almost like the inversion of that flagship pen, the Lamy 2000, which I'm going to bring up now to show you how different they are. And I'm going to move the ink out of the way so that you can see it. This is the Lamy 2000, which you can see is their flagship. It is a piston converter pen, which is much better with an ink window, as you can see. But to a large degree, it's almost like they're inverted. The Lamy 2000, the thing I don't like about it the most is the metal section. The Lamy Studio has the macrolon section and the aluminium. So you can see how they're sort of the inverse of one another, but it is still very, very cool. If you are someone who, like me, unlike me, likes to use a metal pen, and there are good reasons to do that. One is, for example, it's very common for women to prefer it simply because if you keep a pen in a handbag, it is less likely that you're going to damage a metal pen than a pen made from other materials. Also for men, some men just like it. Lots of men, particularly in my age group, grew up with owning a Parker pen and believe it ought to be metal. There is nothing wrong with a metal pen. It just isn't my preference. All right, I have the Lamy Studio in a medium. It is a wonderful smooth nib to write with. It is just everything you would expect with Lamy. Form follows function with Lamy. They are dedicated to that Bauhaus principle, and it's just true. If they say that a nib is a medium, it absolutely is. There isn't a great deal of flex in this nib. It is just the sort of nib that you want to pull out of your pocket. The pen is always going to work. It is going to be reliable and function. It is just a medium nib. You will love it if you own it. All right, turning to the ink. This one here is for our friend Shelley, who's a green ink aficionado. It comes to us from Montblanc. I have reviewed Montblanc's Irish Green before. They do a bunch of green inks from time to time. Montblanc often releases their specialty inks in their sort of like 35 to 50 ml bottles, the square ones, and they're often very, very expensive. These days the price has really gone up. They're going for about even sort of $80 to $100 for their limited edition inks. This one in this sort of pistol grip bottle shape is just a standard Montblanc ink that they make every year. They make consistently all year round. You can always buy one of their standard inks. They come in a limited range. I think there's about 12 different colors of them, and they're a lot less expensive inexpensive. You can buy a bottle of this, which contains more ink, for maybe $40 or $50, and it will last you a long, long time. It is a wonderful, rich green. It is the sort of the green that I think I pretty much standardized on. I don't write in green ink an awful lot, but when I do, this is the one that I reach for. I like it. It's a deep, sort of a foresty type green. It is a very, very cool color, and I recommend it. If you want a great green ink, this is the one that I would choose. Now, I would normally say go by Lamy ink, right? Lamy inks are just green, and they're inexpensive. Lamy, pretty much anything is kind of my default recommendation. That is not true of the green ink. I prefer Montblanc's standard Irish green ink above Lamy and any others. All right, guys, so that is your pen and ink for this week. We have the Lamy Studio in aluminium with a medium nib paired with the Montblanc Irish Green standard ink. Hope you found that enjoyable. I've got half an hour left to go in the show. Believe it or not, once again, I swear this is true. You are watching SimonTV.